We are back, and we're back with another tier list. Today the tier list is about value for money foods, and I don't think people understand this topic very well, so that's why I'm here. I think people misunderstand the concept that when you're paying for food, you are paying for nourishment. And what does that mean? It means calories or your energy, and also vitamins like vitamin A, B, C, whatever, and our minerals like iron or zinc. And fiber is nice to have as well. Protein content is nice to have too. So if you're paying for things that don't have any of these things, like what are we doing? Like if it's got no nutritional value or calories at all, like you're kind of paying for air. Particularly if you're very active and your calorie target is maybe 20 to 30% higher than the average person. If you're not being conscious about what you're actually paying for, the bill can stack up pretty quickly. So let's get into it. All right, first up we have rice cakes, and I put these first because this illustrates my point. Rice cakes are low calorie, they don't really have any micronutrients, most of the time at least. So, like, what are we paying for? What are we paying for? If you're trying to lose weight, these might, add some, light calorie snacks to your diet, maybe you put some hummus on it or something. But like, as far as value for money goes, don't go here. Next up, whole grains. Whole grains are okay. They're better than regular grains because they got some fiber, which is good for your gut. They got some more micronutrients from the actual germ of the seed compared to refined grains, so they have that going for them. I'm putting them in B tier. They could go higher. Actually, yeah, let's put them a little bit higher. The image says bread, but some whole grain sources are better. I really like quinoa. I think that's a great thing to have in your diet, so I'll put that in A tier just as like a average of the whole grains. Avocado, it really depends in what season it is, because the price can be so varied, but altogether I'll put it in B tier. It's okay. It's not that high calorie. People talk about the micronutrients in it, but to be honest, it's not that high compared to some other fruits and vegetables, so I'll put it in around B tier. If you get them in season, they're pretty cheap, so in that case it could be higher, but out of season, like, good luck finding a good price. Rice I'm gonna put in S tier because it's so versatile. Like, you can put any meal on top of it. You get a big sack of it for like not much. And it doesn't take up much storage at home either. I really prefer buying things in bulk just to save that money, and just because you always have it on hand, you don't run out, which is just reassuring. I would say the micronutrient density is a bit lower than some other things because maybe you want to go with brown rice instead if that's your focus. But as far as price go, like, you cannot beat it. Chicken, I'll say A tier for chicken. I'm a little bit torn because of course it is a bit more expensive than some other things, but that being said, it's probably the cheapest meat unless you buy some weird cuts of donkey, I don't know. I think the protein is kind of keeping it in a higher tier. Next up we have sodas. I'm really not a fan of these because you're kind of just paying for a little bit of sugar most of the time, which you can just get a lot more cheaper elsewhere, so straight into D tier. And I think ice cream is a similar story. It's even more expensive than soda as well, and you're kind of paying for the same thing, except it's got sugar and saturated fat, so not really ideal. Honey, same story. There's a reason I put these all together, okay? And I'm gonna put candy in B tier, surprisingly. I put this after all these things like ice cream, soda, honey, because I think as a pre-training source, I'm not too opposed to candy, and I'm saying that as a nutritionist. It's not bad, okay? It's really cheap per calorie. It's something sweet you can have in your diet. If you have it right before training, it's not going to spike your blood sugar in the same way that it will otherwise. So it feels funny putting it next to avocado as a nutritionist, but in this context, I think it's not bad. Beef, I think it's also B tier. I think beef is more expensive than chicken, but it kind of holds up because it has more micronutrient density. It's got a bit more iron, a bit more zinc, a few other things. But per gram, I think it's less protein because there's a higher fat content. It's okay, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's your best value for money. Chickpeas, straight into S tier. I love chickpeas and lentils as well. They have everything you need. Good protein content, micronutrients, fiber if you want that as well. And man, you can put them in any meal. A can of them's like $1. It's fantastic. Enough said. Almonds, and I'm going to say peanuts as well. Two of the cheaper nuts, particularly peanuts if you really want to go that way. I usually get almonds just because I like them a bit more. But almonds and peanuts, really cheap. The protein content, I think some people say it's great. It's not fantastic, it's decent. the protein spread as far as amino acids go, it's not going to be as good as chicken or beef, but as far as calories go, it's pretty good. It's got some other micronutrients in there. Yes, other nuts like Brazil nuts or macadamias are going to be a lot more expensive, but if you just buy peanuts or almonds, really good choice. And you can just bring them, they're an easy snack. You can bring them anywhere, easy enough. Peanut butter, I'm going to say a similar thing. Because peanuts, peanut butter, and other nuts, they're really high in fat, and the fat is 9 calories per gram as opposed to carbs and protein, which are 4. These things are really high calorie for the price, and if you divide calorie total by price, you'll really see the value in here. Next up we have, I'm going to say most vegetables aside from like leafy greens. If you buy frozen, they're higher. This is where, like, frozen could be like A or B tier, but I'm just gonna put them D because as far as micronutrient density goes, leafy greens just beat them up. Oh, I'm gonna put them in S tier actually. Some of the cheapest micronutrients you can buy. If you buy frozen spinach, like you're getting a bag for like a few dollars, it's so cheap. I'll bump up the rest of the vegetables actually. The C tier is looking a little bit lonely. I'm just looking what's actually gonna go there. Okay, so yeah, basically leafy greens are a lot more micronutrient dense. Pretty much all vegetables are low calorie, so you got to consider that. But at some point you're gonna have to eat some micronutrients, so there's that. Next up, this is a photo of fast food, but I'm just gonna say eating out. Ooh, so bad, dude, so bad. I think, let's say in US dollars, you're spending $60 a week on groceries, and then you're going to eat out, which is, I don't know, $15 you're spending on it, and that's conservative in some places. That's like a quarter of your weekly allotment for food. Like, what are we doing here? Just cook your own food, man. I understand if you want to eat out, like, I'm not going to tell you to just like live in a shed and save all your money, but if you're really trying to budget, you got to cut this out, man. It's a non-negotiable. Next up is oats. Oats, another S tier. I think these are fantastic. They're really versatile. It's got your protein, your fiber, good source of carbs. It's a whole grain. It's just got everything you want. But like, if I was ordering this, I would put like oats and chickpeas and lentils like right at the top, man. Almonds too. I mean, all the stuff in the top I'm really happy with. I mean, rice, maybe you could put a bit lower, but I'm not ordering this. Olive oil, another straight S tier, just for the purpose that it is the cheapest calories you can buy, okay? You might look at a bottle and think, okay, well, it's, I don't know, $10 for a bottle, but if you divide calories by dollars, so fantastic. That's because it's pretty much all fat, and as I said before, fats are more calorie dense, but these fats are the unsaturated, which are the better kind, and the best cooking oil you can buy, I would say. Whey protein, this is a tricky one, because per gram of protein is probably the cheapest thing you can buy. I think I did the math once, and if you're buying chicken compared to whey protein's like, I think it was like a quarter of the price if you buy from a pretty cheap site. I don't really buy into this like premium isolate. I think they're just trying to take your money. So just buy like the regular one. Okay, but where it falls short is the micronutrient density, which is where, although it's cheaper per gram of protein compared to chicken, you're not getting any micronutrients that you are with the chicken. Next up we have milk. I think milk's kind of okay. It's a tricky one to place. I'd put it somewhere in the middle. I'm tempted to put it in C tier just because there's nothing in there. And this tier list is looking a bit funny. But the thing about milk is you are paying a little bit of money per calorie. The micronutrient profile is okay. It's got a wide range of micronutrients, but in low quantities, so you have to drink enough to actually get moderate amounts. So I'll leave it there. I'll say next up, fruits. This is bananas. I think if you buy in-season fruits, they're pretty good, man. It really depends on the season, and if you buy a local and in-season fruit, it's gonna be really cheap. I'll put it in B tier just as an average. Next up, cheese. Cheese is kind of low. It's quite expensive per calorie, not really good micronutrient density profile. It's probably worse than milk. Eggs, I would say, these are hard to place because the price can vary. Where I live, they got really expensive recently, so I'm tempted to put it in C tier. They are a good food to have, and if you have chickens, like, great, because they can be expensive. I don't know if the prices have come right, but I'll put it in B tier, it's okay. Oh, it's okay, because per gram of protein, it's probably a little bit better than mince. Micronutrient density is okay too, but anyway, this is what I think. This is if you're trying to budget, stick to these things in the higher tiers, and yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think would be in the S or the D tier in the comments, and I hope you learned something. I'll see you next time.